Okay, you'll be okay?
I was giggling at you giving John a little love on your way
I know.
I know you do.
You're officially from
They'll probably pull it out and then put it there. I work with him. He's an okay.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Woods. Hi, everybody. I'm the superintendent here at Rantoul City Schools. Thank you for what we hope will be awesome and not a big letdown. Those of you who remember the opening of Capone's Vault. So hopefully there'll be some, we're sure there's something more exciting in there. Before we get into our program, I want to see, just in the audience, is anyone in the audience a former Myna Thompson student? Raise your hands high so we can see you. All right. And then, do we have any former Myna Thompson staff in the room? I know we've got, ooh, all right. Okay. Mrs. Brotherton in the back there, she did help me try to find the 1970s time capsule that is still missing on the property. So if someone has a high-tech metal detector, go for it. So we're pretty excited about this. When the school district made the decision, gosh, it was, how long ago did we make this decision to finally move forward? It was in May, maybe? That it was time to finally move forward with the demolition of the school. We knew that there was a time capsule, at least that was the legend, in the cornerstone that was laid in 1919. That was almost the last part of the demolition to take place. And when the excavating company removed the cornerstone, laid it down on its side, we thought we were going to have to crack open the cornerstone to find this time capsule. And it was inset in the bottom, and it was able just to kind of slide right out. Really perfect condition. We are not sure what the material is. Everyone thinks it's copper but me, so I guess other people are sure what the material is. I think it's zinc. But but we did rub some of the tarnish on it, and it appears to be probably copper. So I'm not going to talk too much about the history of Myna Thompson because I'm going to hand that over to one of our community members who did a little research on at least the beginnings of the school. And I'm going to ask him to come on up, and that is Mr. Jack Anderson.
Evening, and I'm honored to be here this evening as a member of this community. I had told Scott I'd been doing some research, and he asked if I would share it this evening, and I'll try to do that. So bear with me. I won't speak so much in the public anymore, but I think you'll find this interesting. You know, we're gathered here for the opening of this capsule in 1919. If you'll indulge me, we'll try to put a little historic perspective into that era. The local newspaper 102 years ago tells us pretty much what happened and how this old school and new school came about, with the new school creating this time capsule. So this evening I'm going to ask that you open your ears and allow your imaginations to open your mind's eye as we go back in time and try to visualize a simpler time here in Rantoul. A time when horses were still pulling carriages and carts. A time when Henry Ford's Model T was a marvel of transportation. Chanute Field, only 2 years before the school building was built in 19, or was being built, had opened. It was there because of World War II, trying to provide service training.
One.
Pardon?
World War I.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's the Great War. It wasn't, they didn't number them back then. If you use your mind's eye and think about it, if you lived in Rantoul at the time, you would have heard the sputtering of a biplane ahead above you, and you would have looked up and saw it circling as it was heading into the field. That's what the people were seeing 102 years ago in their community. In 1918 and 19, we had the influenza virus pandemic going on. 500 million people were affected by it. About a third of the planet's population. We lost somewhere between 20 and 50 million victims to the virus. America lost about 675 victims to the virus. So on a cold day in January 1919, 2 days after the Great War had ended, or 2 months after the Great War had ended, the school caught fire, the only schoolhouse in Rantoul. 7 days later, on January 16, 1919, the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified, bringing about national prohibition of alcohol. That's what was going on at this time when this thing was married. So before we open the time capsule, let me share some newspaper articles, just two of them, from the era. First one, Rantoul Weekly Press, Wednesday, January 15th, 1919. Headline, Rantoul suffers big fire loss. This time our public school building goes up in flames. 300 pupils marched from burning building. No time to say books, however. For the third time in as many years, the Rantoul Public School building caught fire. Just Thursday afternoon, about 2 o'clock, and the third time proved its destruction, the building being burnt to the ground in very short time. In less than no time, the people of the town hurried to the scene of the fire, and there were indeed anxious parents, as some 300 children were in the building. The fire was well underway before being discovered, having started in the roof or attic from a defective flue. Thanks are due to the teachers for their deportment and marshaling the children and conducting them safely in short order. This was about all that was accomplished, however, as wraps in some instances were left for flames and devoured as well as books. The 5th and 4th grade saved most of their books, as a part of the books of the 1st grade were saved. But the books from the other grades were a total loss. The surrounding community helps resume school. Quarters have been secured in various places in town. So this is a community coming together. The 1st grade, which is the classroom of Mrs. Myna Thompson, will be held at Frank Miller's building. And that's where they're going to be taught until the new school building comes about. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grades are going to go to the Christian church. 5th grade, Free Methodist Church. 6th grade, K of P Hall. 7th grade, Masonic Hall. 100 desks have been borrowed from Champaign. 50 seats have been brought from Urbana. 75 seats have been secured from Paxton. At the time of the fire, 314 pupils were enrolled. It's hoped to resume school in the latter part of this week or the first of next. The scholars will be duly notified, the paper read. Now we fast forward about 20 months. They've been burned down. They basically built the new school upon the ashes of the old one. 20 months later, or 11 days before school starts, on August 26, 1920, women's suffrage was realized with the passage of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, where for the first time women were given the right to vote in elections. That's what's going on at this time when they're burying this thing. Miss Myna Thompson, according to the 1920 papers, was the 1st grade teacher. And that's true from one of the report cards here. The Rantoul Weekly Press, Wednesday, September 8th, 1920. Headline, Public Schools Opened Monday. Grade school occupying handsome new building. The Rantoul Public School opened Monday with every evidence of a successful school year. In the grades were 200 registered Monday, equally divided, 100 boys, 100 girls. Divided amongst the grades as follows. Miss Thompson's class had 25 in the 1st grade. 2nd grade had 30. 3rd had 26. 4th grade had 20. The largest number of students were in the 5th grade, 31. 6th grade had 26. 7th grade had 28 students. And the lowest number of students were in the 8th grade, 14. Again, totaling 200 students. The high school enrollment at that time was 90. A total of 42 full and part-time freshmen. That's Now, this is the largest beginning class for some time. Now, putting into context that the school had burnt down, had caught fire 3 times, and the last time it burnt to the ground, you can just imagine those kids having to run out of a building on fire full of smoke, how terrified they must have been, and their parents. What you'll hear in this next reading is an emphasis on fireproof. Rantoul Grade School to be on exhibition. Rantoul Grade School Board invites the people of Rantoul and vicinity to inspect the new grade school building on the following date. Saturday afternoon, September 11th, 2 to 5 o'clock, and from 7 and 9 o'clock in the evening. Ushers will be present at these times to show the people around the building. The building belongs to the people of the community, and each member of the community should find time to inspect it. Possibly a general description of the grade school building would help you appreciate it. The building is a modern 8th grade building having 8 classrooms and a playroom, a shop for boys, a laboratory for home economics for girls, an office, supply room, furnace room, and coal room. The construction is chiefly brick and concrete, making it a very substantial and fireproof building. The stairs are steel and concrete. The building is heated by a triple hot air furnace. Air may be recirculated in the building or taken directly from outside. The temperature is regulated by the use of thermostat. Imagine the modernness of that. The fans ensure good ventilation. Fresh air is passed through the furnace, is heated, moistened, and forced into the rooms. The classrooms are exceptionally well lighted and adjustable shades controlling the sunlight. Every room and the hallways have artificial lights for use when necessary. I should point out only 35% of all homes in America had electricity at this time. In the rural areas, it was even less. The classrooms are seated with Multhrop chairs. These are the chairs that many of us remember you sat in and had the desk attached to it. These chairs come in 6 sizes and are adjustable in 3 directions. This means every child can be seated in a chair that fits him. The danger from fire is very limited. The building is of fireproof construction. There being 3 exits of fireproof construction, fire alarms on each floor, and a fire hose on each floor. It looks as if it would be impossible to destroy the building by fire. And shall we note that it did exist? 102 years, never catching fire. Other features worth your attention are the excellent and complete cloak rooms, the sanitary toilets, drinking fountains on each floor, the height of the windows from the floor, the slate blackboards from the height of the floor, teachers' closets, room cupboards, and so on. The school building is worth your inspection. The style of the architecture is conservative, but from the standpoint of design and substantialness of construction, it is one of the best buildings of its size in central Illinois. So in closing here this evening, for my part, I hope, for a brief moment this evening, I hope to travel back in time. Back to when the Great War ended, the pandemic was waning, Prohibition was enacted, Model Ts were a modern marvel, and biplanes flew overhead. When the community proudly invited the public to inspect its newly constructed grade school building with all the modern design and amenities, to include indoor toilets and electrical artificial lighting. In 1990, the community of Rantoul purposely set aside a historic cachet in the form of a time capsule, tucked away under the cornerstone of the new grade school building. The capsule is a deliberate communication from the past to the people of Rantoul's tomorrow. How wonderful of them to have done so. Thank you for your attention.
Did we have folks from the Historical Society come in? Oh, you get to come up front. All right. Thank you. All right. Okay, so board members, I say the reveal and that you're all up here with me, but that probably won't work. But our Rantoul City School School Board is here. All the 6 of the 7 are here this evening for our meeting that we'll have later. And they're supposed to technically help me undo this, but this is exciting. So I am very honored. If you guys want to come up, you can come up. I am very honored to get to do this. To be fair, I did contact an epidemiologist at the U of I, and Spanish flu did not survive. She assured me. Now, to be fair, yesterday we did have to pry it a little bit, but we did not open it. So, everybody see it. All right. Ooh. I'm assured that if I pull hard, it will come open. Okay. Sure you don't want to come up?
You need help opening it?
Oh, no. There we go. Ooh. All right. Oh, it's copper. Now the side is copper. All right.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of
That bent open way too easily. So, the Rantoul Historical Society is here because we are going to, they're going to be warehousing this for us, and we're going to hand it over. It's all, I don't want it to crumble. It smells like 1919. Hopefully there's no smallpox. All right. Okay.
What?
No. Nope. It's been damp. You can tell it's crumbling here. So there's a newspaper. Okay. This is a box made by William Huth, top soldered on lid, and it has the name of who did it. Of course, they don't tell me if it's copper. All right. Okay. There's a lot of debris down in the bottom of it from crumbled paper. So, all right. Oh boy, this is like a letter.
Oh, good.
The Rantoul School Building, District 137, burned on the afternoon of January 9th, 1919. The fire started sometime in the early afternoon, but was not discovered until about 2 o'clock by Miss Mabel Lovejoy, teacher of the 5th grade. All the pupils and teachers got out safely, but many books, some, it's hard to read, books, some, and all the seats were lost. All right. The school board, we're going to have to read all this later. This is quite a few pages.
Mm-hmm. What's the date of the paper? No, the newspaper.
Aha, good question. This is the one that's going to, I don't want to open it up.
It should be on the top. It's a long
January 15th, 1919. Mm-hmm. This is the one you pulled up on microfilm. All right. And then January 22nd, 1919. It's from January 15th, 1919. So it's got a picture of the school on it. And we're going to leave these out, by the way, up here. Well, that doesn't go to something. Also, so the people here and the folks watching online know, we are going to end up hopefully scanning all of these digitally so that you can see them, and they would be posted. Okay, this one's not wanting to come out. It is a little bit damaged, it looks like. You only get one shot at that. I think it's an old photograph that looks like it's deteriorated. All right. I'll let surer hands at some point do that. It's really not going to come out. An envelope, maybe? Is this where the stock certificates are?
Yes, Ford Motor Company.
All right. So it's newspapers. We have a letter and who made the box. And it looks like there's one other thing in there if we're ever able to sort that out.
Could you tell us who wrote the letter by the last
Yes,
page?
it is my predecessor, someone who has initials in the last name Stevens, who is the superintendent.
E.G.
Yep. E.G. Those are the initials. And then the next page is it's the names of the board members. Committee on Plans and Architecture looks like the builders and the folks who are involved in construction. And that's dated personnel of the board 1918, 1919, also 1919, 1920. And this is a list of the staff, the faculty of January 9th, 1919. All right. And the first name on the list is Myna Thompson. And then the estimated cost. Who wants to guess? Estimated cost is $65,000. And it says the cornerstone was laid on July 19th, 1919. So that would be when they would have closed that up. So, all right. Is there another page in here? I can't believe it came out still readable on there. I don't think there's anything other than the newspapers. It is a little damp, it feels like, which is surprising. But it obviously got some water damage in it. All right.
Well, we can blame that guy who took credit for the soldering. So.
I know. All right. Great. That's it. No, now I have to present this to. Come on up. Tell us who you are. I think I know who you are, but I'm going to let you tell me.
I'm sure it's safe to take off my mask, put my hearing aid back in. My name's Jim Cheek. I'm the president of the Rantoul Historical Society for the past 20 years. There's a whole lot of history that you're looking at right here, and much more history about the school itself. If you have the time, we're right across from the Dairy Queen. We'd love to have you come in sometime this year and take a look at the other holdings we have for Myna Thompson. Myself personally, I went to school there when I was in 6th grade. I don't remember what year that was, but 6th grade. The one thing I do remember, we had 15 6th grade classes that year. We all came from the different schools around the community, and there was so many 6th graders because of the military. They put us all at Myna Thompson under one roof. So we had 15 classrooms. It was basically 200 6th graders that year. But Wood, I appreciate the fact that we're going to be the recipients of the contents, and it is copper, by the way. I'm not a metallurgist, but I do know copper.
Well, I could tell as soon as I pulled it open, I thought, oh, that's copper.
I was hoping there would be a little more information inside, but the information that is here is invaluable. It is history, and you can say I was there the day they opened it. 1919 was just a day or two ago, and we're more than pleased to be the recipient and the guardian of it, and we will be creating a special display case and location for it, along with our other Myna Thompson holdings. And more than that, this location where the school was built, before it was there, the high school was there. And the high school burned down, and they moved it a block further over, if you didn't know, and built Myna Thompson. And the building itself was, the original building is basically what you see here, and then they added on to the back some years later. But all that history is there if you'd like to read about it. See pictures of Myna Thompson and her history. We have that there. This is going to be a valuable addition to that collection, and we hope you can all come and see it.
Well, thank you. This is where we shake hands, and it's the big hand. Before folks go, and Andy has to say his closing remarks in just a minute, but we do. Yes, we're giving you a brick.
Oh, thank you very much.
You got the history on there.
So we are, as a small fundraiser for our after-school program, selling the bricks for $20 each. And we're going to stick around afterwards to do that. We have a couple artifacts up here that Miss Frericks brought in. These are from her family, which is also Mr. Anderson's family, by marriage, I think. And report cards from the first year the school opened. From who was it in your family?
We're a wrestler.
Okay, and 1919 first grade teacher, Myna Thompson, was his teacher. And we're going to, Andy, I'm going to let you talk here in just a minute, but when myself and the board leave, because we're going to have to go to the other room for our board meeting, we're asking that anyone who wants to stay around, stick around. We have cookies in the back, and we encourage you to swap stories, especially those of you who walked the halls or taught in the halls. We're really interested in hearing about that. And I know some of the news media may want to talk to some of you also. So thank you all for coming tonight. And last but not least, Mr. Graham, our board president.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. And I was really excited about this because I'm a homegrown boy. My grandfather, who's 101, went to this school. My mother went to this school. All my aunts and uncles that are from Rantoul went to this school. So this is pretty interesting, and it's kind of crazy that a newspaper stayed in the shape that it stayed in right there. I'd be real interested to see, and I won't be around in 100 years if we put a newspaper in a box, if we could keep it in that pristine condition. But thanks for everybody coming out, and thanks, Jack, for the history lesson, and we appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you. I am going to ask no touching of the stuff up here unless Mr. Cheek says you can. So I think it's going to be a no. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. Taylor has to tell us what the choice is called.
Okay.
Come on. All right. Hello. Yeah, you can take lots of pictures, please. So.
I guess I gotta go back outside the building.
Okay.
I'm gonna go take the camera.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get with you.
Either.
The condition's fantastic.
That's typical, but I, at that time, I couldn't see the lines. Yeah, if we read articles about you and they don't know your true age.
Maybe my birthday.
Could be.
When all that stuff was flying.
I was surprised. I thought it was.
Yeah, there is.
I did too.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
But I think there's a picture of that. Just take a
Picture of the inside of that box. You think
a year earlier.
It's amazing that the news plant, being what it is, has fallen apart.
Is it a picture?
Tall guy, big guy. Oops, sorry. I was kind of wondering if he would.
I will carry the brand.
No, but I really want to
I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
When we handle this kind of stuff, you know, it's white glove.
Oh, absolutely. It's historical.
Made tore down everything else. All the old buildings. They just, they never opened them up. They had a capsule on that there. We went somewhere else and that's all.
Never saw. It is really nice.